Started off in the top 10 with the Carolina Panthers, and it's probably the biggest rumor going around the world right now about the quarterback position. This rumor is the Panthers will draft a quarterback with the 6th overall pick. Believometer, where's it at, Aaron?
Um,
It's been in the doc all day. It's been in the doc all day. How are you just like umming this?
No, listen, my believometer is 0. I don't believe that the Panthers are going to draft a quarterback with the 6th overall pick. I think that all the talk we've heard over this offseason about the Panthers needing a quarterback is factual. It's true. They need one. But the guys coming into this draft just aren't worth a top 10 pick. Yes, you could go with the upside of a Malik Willis. You could go with baby hands picking himself. Maybe he'll put on the 3rd glove. Who knows? Matt Corral, small frame. And then you got Desmond Ritter, who's obviously kind of the most prototypical, athletic, big, physical guy, but doesn't have necessarily the upside that a guy like Malik Willis has. Look, everybody's talked about the Carolina needing a quarterback. They do, but they need to protect the quarterback first. I think they go offensive line here. I don't think it's a quarterback, high-class quarterback draft. I think they can wait until next year or even maybe later in the draft and try to take a flyer. I think you let Sam Darnold ride this year out and then you go from there.
Y'all ain't going to like this. I was looking for something, but it's not here. But I'm giving this a 5 on the Believometer. I am stuck in the middle. I am sitting on the fence. I thought they were going to take a QB, right? Me and Aaron and you guys, we've talked a lot about the fact that it makes sense that they need an offensive lineman here. And I was leaning towards offensive linemen. They have so much to take care of. They've done well on their defensive side of the ball. They've got some veterans in to teach the young guys. So next year they can go on by themselves. But now they have to take care of that offense because that was their downfall last season. So you want to say that they want to grab an offensive lineman. It makes sense. Charles Cross will probably be sitting right there. If not, Evan Neal will probably be sitting right there. But then I hear, and of course it's blow smoke up your ass time, and there's rumors everywhere. Then I hear that they went to Sam Darnold and told them they were going to take a QB in this draft. Well, if you take a QB at 137, you're looking at Carson Strong or Bailey Zapp and thinking that's the next guy, thinking like Sam Darnold is going to be the veteran that shows them how to play in the NFL. That doesn't make sense to me. So the only place that they really could take a QB is with their first pick at 6, as we say in this rumor mill, a Kenny Pickett or a Malik Willis, or then they trade and move back. But that's not the question. So I'm going to sit on the fence. I don't think Kenny Pickett, to me, he's not the guy that's going to go first at QB. Malik Willis might be that type of guy. Maybe we get a surprise like Daniel Jones and you see a Desmond Ritter or even a Matt Corral be the first guy off the board that no one's talking about, but that'd be a huge surprise. If I'm the Carolina Panthers, I think I wait. We all said Sam Darnold last year could do this, could take this time. I don't think they handled that situation right last year in Carolina. If you really know that you can build around Sam Darnold knowing he's not the future, do it. Let him play one last year. Get everything in your spot. You'll be picking early again next season and try to get one of the better QBs that are coming out of the draft next year.
I'm at a 7.6. I'm at a 7.6 with this one. All right.
7.6.
I am believing that they're going to be taking a quarterback in round 1. I don't know if they're going to be sitting at 6 and taking that quarterback in round 1, whether it be a trade back in or whether it be a trade back and then just taking it there. I see them for sure taking a quarterback in round 1. I do not know if it's going to be at 6, but I will safely say if they're not considering any trades here, I'm at a 7.6 here that the Carolina Panthers draft a quarterback with the 6th overall pick.
Well, they're not going to trade back in. They don't have the capital to do it, and you can't hamstring yourself going forward. Trading back does make sense, and the problem, the only issue with the trading back is you have to find a way to do that before draft, because if somebody trades into that 5 spot, you're screwed.
Like, and to be completely honest, I wouldn't even. So actually, AJ, you've helped me bump this score up. It's now at an 8.3 that they pick a quarterback with the 6th overall pick, because you're right. They don't have the draft capital to trade back in. But the other thing is this is the most important position in football. You don't just pass up on your hopeful franchise quarterback and move back to get him I think that they get him at 6, 8.3.
Yeah, but that's only if you believe one of these guys is a franchise quarterback. How many times have we watched guys reach, Daniel Jones, Mitch Trubisky, Carson Wentz, reach on guys because they feel like quarterback has to be solved right now? The fact of the matter is, Carolina doesn't have to do that. Let me give you a fun stat. Kenny Pickett is a year older or is a year younger than Sam Darnold. They're damn near the same age, and Sam Darnold has 4 years of experience. Why, if you don't have the draft capital to move back into the first round, sit at 6, draft your tackle of the future, and then just wait on a quarterback? You never know who you're going to get. Maybe it is a Bailey Zapp, maybe it is a Carson Strong, but is there a big difference between Kenny Pickett and those guys? I don't think so. I want to make one more point though before we move on, or before you respond. I've heard, and you guys didn't say it, which I'm surprised. A lot of people have been tying a quarterback to the Panthers, not because they feel like one is worthy of the number 6 pick, but that Matt Rule needs to take one in order to save his job.
Yep.
I want to just kind of debunk that point. Matt Rule is not the general manager. Matt Rule is not the one bringing in the players. If the general manager does not want a quarterback, or he doesn't think one of those guys is the franchise quarterback, Matt Rule doesn't get to say, well, I need to draft one here to save my job. That general manager is going to go, no, they're not worthy of this pick, so we're not taking them. The general manager is one making this draft pick. We have to make sure we understand that. This is not Matt Rule making this pick.
But with the same thought process, the conversation we've had off air about Doug Peterson getting some say to bring in a player.
Don't compare Trent Baalke. Do not compare Trent Baalke's status in Jacksonville to a general manager in Carolina.
That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is if your job is on the line, you don't think you're going to have a louder voice about what you want to do? Because if you think you are going to be let go because your team hasn't shown up, and let's not forget, they gave this man a 7-year, $60 million deal. And if you're talking about getting rid of him after 3 years, you best believe I might be loud and boisterous to get the guy that I want. So at the very least, I can either, one, buy myself some time to show you that we're headed in the right direction, or two, have been able to prove that we have done everything we can to make this team work. And as a general manager, you gave me 2-3 picks in the 3 years, and they weren't able to work out. And everything else you've done around it, besides these in-season trades that brought some talent, has done nothing for me, and you're going to let me go.
You can voice your opinion all you want. What I'm saying is that let's be clear that this is not Matt Rule. This is not a Bill Belichick situation where Matt Rule has the final say or is the one leading that charge. They have a general manager that is making decisions, and it's not just Matt Rule saying, oh, crap, I got to get a quarterback to save my job. I think it's everybody's talking that narrative, and I don't think it's just his sole choice to say, I'm going to get Malik Willis because that buys me an extra couple of years.
I think, and to tie this all together from what you said before about reaching on a quarterback, I don't agree with it. I'm not saying I agree with the Panthers doing that and forcing themselves to pick, but you laid out the history right there. We've seen it before. We've seen it happen many of times where a Jacksonville Jaguars reach on a Blake Bortles, a New York Giants reach on a Daniel Jones, just because they want their franchise guy. They go out and get him no matter where they are in the draft. Maybe they're not getting calls at 6. Maybe they don't like the trades. Maybe they want their quarterback. Who knows? So that's for the Panthers rumor. Let's move on to the next rumor here. From trading up or back, however you may look at it, the Eagles will trade up for Kayvon Thibodeau if he falls past the 5th overall pick. I saw that report floating around out from multiple draft guys, multiple draft gurus here. I believe Matt Miller said something about that on Twitter. But the Eagles will trade up for Kayvon Thibodeau if he passes pick 5. AJ, believe-o-meter.
4 for 2 reasons. One, I don't think he's passing 5. I think 5 is the latest he can go. I believe he's going to go to the Jets, but as we've seen and we talked about, I really like Ahmad Gardner to the Jets. I don't know if that's how it's going to go down. I don't think he passes New York if that's the case, because New York needs an edge rusher in a bad way as much as they need an offensive tackle. But if a Kayvon Thibodeau is sitting there at 5, despite what people are saying, and I want to debunk he doesn't love football. This is just a way to say that I think he's not as good as we all thought he was because he doesn't do the processes we want him to. If the Giants are looking at 5 and Kayvon Thibodeau is still there, I believe they would go with him, allow the Panthers to grab if Ickham's right there or Evan Neal's right there, and then they grab the next one. So I put this at like a 4. I also think that the Philadelphia Eagles are looking more towards the back end of their defense, and then on the offensive side to grab themselves another playmaker. So 4 for me.
I think it's kind of a trick question. If you say trade into the top 10, I don't think there's any chance. I would probably put it at a 1 or 2. But if Kayvon Thibodeau, for whatever reason, starts falling and he gets a 9, 10, 11, and he's still there, could they then trade up a few spots to try to make that move? Yeah, they could. I don't see Kayvon Thibodeau falling that far, even if he does slide a little bit. So I don't think this is very high. I think Philadelphia is in a good spot with those two middle of the first round picks where they can go out and address a couple of needs, a cornerback there, and then possibly a wide receiver or a defensive lineman, maybe to get a Devontae White or something like that. So I would put it very low. I'm at a 1 or 2 on this one.
Yeah, I am off the back end of the spectrum here. I am at a 1. I don't believe that one bit that they try and trade up. I mean, we could see maybe they trade up like 1 or 2 picks for him, like, but not anything drastic to where they go up and get a Kayvon Thibodeau. That being said, I think that another person that we're going to talk about in just a few moments, I think that is a player that could fall. Maybe it's Jermaine Johnson. There are also reports out there that people are saying that Jermaine Johnson is going to be selected in the top 10 of this draft. I mocked him to, I believe, Seattle at number 9. People are talking about him going top 5 now or top 10. Where's the Believo-meter at, AJ? This is your FSU guy right here. This is your Believo-meter for him. What is it for Jermaine Johnson being a top 10 pick in this draft? Where's it at, Believo-meter?
8. An 8. And that's just because this draft is going to be crazy, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Make sure you guys are tuning in at 7:30. We'll talk about tomorrow how it only takes one pick to change that entire thought process in a draft like this. But right now, Jermaine Johnson, from what we've seen on tape, to the way he's tested, to the way he's interviewed, to the player that he's shown that he can be, I don't think he falls any further than 9 for Seattle. I think New York's in on him. I would be shocked if the Jets decide, what if we take it on Jermaine Johnson? He's got that style. He's got that swagger that a Robert Saleh likes. I definitely think Jermaine Johnson is not only worthy of a top 10 pick, I think he will be selected in the top 10.
Yeah, I agree. I actually have it as high as AJ. I have it as an 8, possibly up to a 9. There are talks that Jermaine Johnson could go as high as 4 to the Jets. Yeah. This is a guy that we talked about his motor, and you know me, I love motor guys. I love guys that are like all in on the field. This is a player I have changed on my mock draft now. I have him going 9 to Seattle as well. So I think this is a guy that can definitely crack the top 10. Look, we're talking about edge rushers, and we've talked about how deep the edge rushing class is, but it's not deep. It's more top end heavy, right? There's some really good ones at the very top, and then it's going to kind of whittle out. I think if you get a guy like Jermaine Johnson in the top 10, that's going to give you what we need, and which is edge rushers, right? We talk about a team like Seattle, like the New York Jets, perhaps the Giants, that need guys to get to the quarterback in divisions with good quarterback play. I think it's going to be important, and I think this is the kind of player you might see a team jump up and get. Something that we don't expect. It's not a jump up to get Kayvon Thibodeau. Maybe it's a jump up to get Jermaine Johnson because Aiden Hutchinson, Trayvon Walker, and Kayvon Thibodeau are gone, and he's the next guy, and there's so many teams with that need. So, yeah, he's at an 8 for me, and I think there's a very good chance that Jermaine Johnson's gone before we get to pick 10.
Give me a 10. Give me a 10 here. I am guaranteeing that Jermaine Johnson is going to be a top 10 pick. I am guaranteeing, you saw my mock draft a few weeks ago, Jermaine Johnson is going to be a top 10 pick because of what you just said, Aaron, with the fact that Thibodeau is going to be gone, Aiden Hutchinson is going to be gone, Trayvon Walker is going to be gone. There's going to be a run on edge rushers in the top 10, and I can definitely see him falling to that back half of the top 10. And, 10, 10, 10. 10s all around. Jermaine Johnson going in the top 10. Let's do our last one here. Derek Stingley will be the first cornerback off the board in this draft.
There's two parts to that. It's been in the doc all day, Vinny. There's 2 parts to it. Not only will Derek Stingley be the first cornerback off the board, Derek Stingley is going to go top 5. Derek Stingley is going to go number 3 to the Houston Texans. I am sold. I'm 100% sold that if Aiden Hutchinson and Trayvon Walker are the first 2 picks, that Derek Stingley will be picked 3rd by the Houston Texans. Man-to-man cover guy, can play in zone. This is a little bit different than a Sauce Gardner. And the only reason I'm saying he's the first because Houston plays a different style of defense. Lovie Smith loves that cover 2 style. Sauce Gardner did not play a whole lot of zone at Cincinnati. It was a man-to-man based defense. Stingley can play multiple coverages. Not that Sauce can't, but he has that experience. I think they really, really like him. I don't want to say he's more physically gifted. There is something about Derek Stingley that I've said before, that coming into college, he was one of those highly touted defensive back prospects LSU has ever seen. And we know what LSU is like, DBU. This is a guy who could be the best player in this draft. That he's that talented. And I know we only have freshman tape, and I know we don't have much that we saw in college. Derek Stingley, number 3, Houston Texans. I am at a 9.9, just in case they decide to take Ikem Ekwonu or Evan Neal out on the offensive line. But Derek Stingley will be the first corner taken off the board to Houston at number 3.
Derek Stingley over Sauce. Are you at that point now?
Not so. Let me clarify what I'm saying.
More? Yeah, I
like Sauce more because I like the style. I like in the NFL. I think that man-to-man style of play is going to be ultimately what wins. Right? They're going to be close. I do think Stingley has the potential to be the best player in this draft, though.
Okay. I'm at a 6.9 on this one for Derek Stingley going in the top 3. Really, but just because of what Aaron just said. So there you go. You are up.
It was a great sell, Aaron. It was a great sell. And you had me believing, and I want to believe. I'm not going to believe for 2 reasons. One, let's just be honest, it's going to make for better TV tomorrow when we talk about the draft. And 2, like you said, the freshman tape is all it is. And the Houston Texans are in a place right now that, yes, they have so many needs that they can almost do whatever they want, but almost. These picks still have to hit. And I'm not saying Derek Stingley won't, because we know he's a good prospect, but you have to hope that what you saw on tape at his freshman season and combine that with what happened in LSU last year where every player checked out isn't going to happen again. You have to make sure that the player that is coming in is going to be that type of guy who is a cornerstone of your franchise for the next 5 to 10 years. You can't take a flyer on a guy knowing he's got the talent, but is not going to be completely bought in. I think if they're going to sit here with Davis Mills for this season and see what happens next year, you go out and you get that best lineman right there at 3, take him, be happy about it, and move forward and do what you need to do at 13. And let's not forget, there's a good chance somebody tries to trade with Minnesota at 12, which would leave Derek Stingley there at 13, in my opinion, because if he doesn't go in that top 5 spot, he's more than likely to me falling to that 12 to 13 area. So I'm at like a 4 on this as well. I like it. I love it. It's spicy. It's hot. I can't take it. And then
we never want to get to the root of the issue.
Go Falcons, go!
Dude, this dude,
and loving you guys.
I was gonna bring that up after all this, but this dude, he has been in our comments in our YouTube on pretty much every video putting "Go Falcons, go."
Can we not just let's just barely hear it? Can we not talk about the only reason you're saying that is because Sauce Gardner plays for Cincinnati and you love you some Cincinnati. So he's got to go first.
Well, what I find funny though, just a real quick question because we'll put the kibosh on this because we got to move on. Does Jamar Chase being drafted last year where he did and him having the production that he did kind of help Derek Stingley's narrative a little bit, like his cause a little bit, because he had the season off, LSU came back and he missed the year and then
no relation.
Okay,
it's too different. It's too different. Yeah.
Just wanted to ask.
You remember what we said about if you can play wide receiver, you can play wide receiver. Where the same thing maybe sits at cornerback, the amount of technical know-how, the amount of being in the right position, following your assignments, there's too much to lean on for you to have that much time off and think that you will immediately come in and make that impact.
I don't even think it's about the time off. I think it's just about the experience of playing, right? If you didn't play very much in college, you haven't seen high-level competition if your last thing was when you were a freshman, right? So even though you do play in the SEC and, you've seen some guys, I just think it's a matter of this is where talent is now weighed against production all the time in the draft. Do you look at talent and upside measurables, or do you look at, hey, this guy was just really good in college and produced like a Sauce Gardner had never given up a touchdown? Well, that's great and all. But if I look at Stingley and I say this guy has the ability to be an excellent corner, do you overlook that or don't you? And I think, again, fit, scheme, I think the way Lovie Smith feels, I think he's going to get that defense right. I really do. I think, like I said, I'll leave if he doesn't go Stingley, obviously it's going to be an offensive lineman to me. But I do think Stingley is the one that goes at 3.